Hey folks. Inno Cool Movie Recap here. Today, we are explaining a crime, thriller movie called Centauro. Release in 2022. Spoiler alert. Beware. The movie begins by showcasing the scene from the Bikers World Championship where we can see our protagonist among the 22 riders enlisted as the participants. We can judge from his expressions that he is nervous about the race. In the background, the commentator announces to the speakers about the hard work and collective team efforts all the teams have made throughout the past week. The scene then shifts to the racing track where we see all the hostesses walking away from the bikes. The mechanics take their last checking routine before the last-minute announcement is made. As soon as the red signal turns green, intense racing starts among all the participants. The camera focuses on our protagonist Rafa, but we can see him lacking behind initially. But after a few seconds into the race, his speed starts to take up. He begins to move forward in the race till he leaves everyone behind. Suddenly, there is a spark, and a cloud of smoke starts to get erupted from the bike. The bike refused to move to make him get disqualified from the race. He starts cursing around, showing his frustration. After the race, a woman named Rafa, daughter of the Malnoas founder, comes and greets him. She advised him to get a good team as he could have won today's match. She told him how they need another rider for Honda and asked him to come for the test trial. He seems enthusiastic about the news. The screen then shows a harbor where we can see Rafa as a construction driver on the port. He then rides to the bus stop where Natalia and their son, Matteo, seem to be waiting for him. Natalia walks away, advising Rafa to make sure their son completes his homework tonight. This showcase they share the custody of their child but are not together. The son and father duo go home where they spend their time together. Seeing Rafa this much engaged, we can tell he loves his child dearly. He shows Matteo his trophy from when he was a dirt bike race before tucking him in bed. In the morning, we see them walking together through some shady streets where Rafa inquires about Natalia's boyfriend, but Matteo tells him how the guy doesn't come around anymore. They go to see Natalia dancing on street in a group. Judging by the eyes of Rafa, he is still very much in love with her. He tries to ask her out but she refuses. The next day, he goes for the trail and they do some warm-up. Rafa informs them that only one of them would be selected. He goes to see his child, but on the way, he sees two shady men. He tries to shake off the suspicion before seeing the door ajar. He rushes inside only to find Natalia beaten up and Matteo scared. He tries to ask her about the incident, when he threatened to call the police. She confesses how she was stacking drugs for them to pay the rent. They robbed her. They also threaten her to come back after a month. Rafa brings them to his house and he smiles watching them sleep. The next day, he goes to Natalia's place only to know that the drugs belong to some sketchy Latinos. He still demands Cortez let him talk to them. He goes to their shop and tries to negotiate, but they refuse them. He comes home at night only to receive a call from them. They gave him a bag and ask him to transport it within 2 hours on the highway. The police chase him, but he can conquer the challenge only to find out that the bag holds flour. The boss tells him to sign a deal of 2 months and he agrees. The day after this, he normally goes to his job and then on his trial where he cut the call he was receiving from the Latinos. His trial goes well. But they came and threaten him never to cut their call or else they will beat his baby's mama. Among all this, we also get to know how when Natalia got pregnant, Rafa run off leaving on her own. Rafa for the next few days continued following the same routine. He asked Carlos to get him bikes with good speed. He informed Natalia how the guys are off her back. They share a kiss before she walks away. Rafa also starts taking the pill because tiredness starts to take a toll on him because of his hectic routine. Among his competitors in the trial, he sees a specific guy getting close to Rafa. Then the chaos starts to follow. He almost fails miserably in his 4th round. He also makes mistakes in his daytime job. The only good thing which came out of this would be him and Natalia getting back together. The chaos in the country is also rising. Day by day, there are protests on the streets, but Carlos demands Rafa directly supply the drugs to the client. Carols try to warn him, but he doesn't listen, saying he will only quit in a week. He takes the 50,000 worth of drugs, but some men in the masks shot his bike down. When he calls for help, Carlos figure out someone has sold them out. He sends help for Rafa, but Carlos's suspicion goes to Diego. They burnt off the van which they used to rescue Rafa. Natalia confronts Rafa knowing him working for Carlos. They make out. Unfortunately for Rafa, he fails the selection final round. He seems disappointed. He informs Natalia about the last delivery. The scene then shifts to Boros doing the deal. Rafa tries to walk off, but Boros tells him how he will continue working for them. He threatens him physically. In a rage, Rafa kills Boros with his helmet. He smashes his head. He calls Cortez and offers him Carlos's business if they will help him. They dispose of the body. The next day, Carlos barges into Rafa's house, threatening him with a gun on his head if he doesn't tell him about the money's whereabouts. Rafa plot against and tell him Boros left with the money. On further inquiry, Rafa sees he went to meet his cousin Fadel. Carlos always had a suspicion of Fadel, so he easily fell into the trap. He takes Rafa to the warehouse. Cortez follows them in the car. But Carlos gets successful in dodging them. He brings them to the warehouse, but through the call, Carlos gets to know Fadel was in jail for a whole week. He gets suspicious, but it all becomes clear to him when he catches Rafa making a call. He caught him red-handed. Rafa has no choice but to run away. Carlos chases him. After an intense racing neck-to-neck, Carlos catches Rafa. He beats him up pretty badly. Asked him, again and again, that who he is working for. Rafa refuses to answer. So, he continuously beats him up. When he sees semi-dead, Carlos put him in the backseat of the car. When he gained consciousness, he sends his location to Cortez, who comes to the rescue. He opens fire on Carlos's car, which making lose control and get hit by a truck. Cortez again shot numerous times on Carlos, killing him on the spot. They put him in the backseat. The scene then shifts to two people observing Rafa, with Natalia celebrating Mateo's birthday. Rafa gets a call from Regina, who informs him how she has to fight with the management to get him the support. She further says she has a soft spot for black sheep. Rafa laughs it off and thanks her for her advice. He tells her how by working on his family he is performing a miracle. Before he can go for his trial, a few policemen come and take him out of the station. A special criminal branch officer shows him photos of Rafa interacting with Carlos. He informs Rafa how they various proofs of his involvement. He gets afraid, but he requests to negotiate. He informs Rafa to be the cat instead of the mouse this time. He specifically asks for his bike. He gets the job. The scene then shifts to Rafa getting orders from his walkie-talkie. As soon as he hears the order, he starts the engine. Then, again the intense chase begins with two policemen car on Rafa aids as well. Rafa becomes successful in overtaking the rider. The police officers came off the cars. The drug dealer gets arrested. But Rafa drives off with his bike. In the ending scene, we can see Rafa jogging on the harbor port with his headphones on. He seems at peace. The moral of the movie: you should never mess with the wrong guy, and if somehow you do mess with the wrong guys, then, to finish them off, think of one of them. All well if ends well. Overall, Centauro is a great movie to watch. It is a pretty cool movie. Although it is talking about motorbike racing, and I thought it's another typical action movie in the beginning. But it has some storyline going through as well. So make sure to check it out and let us know in the comments section. Don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification button, so you will never miss out on any videos like that. Check out these videos on your screen. Until then, take care and we will meet you in our new video.